Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Gerard. We're going to take a look at a trick that haunted me for a long time. We're going to learn how to nose stall. Before you learn this trick, you should know how to rock to fakie and tail stall. Nose stall is a pretty weird trick. It's one of the first tricks that your foot position drastically changes from your standard riding stance. Essentially how the trick works, you're gonna ride up with your front foot on your nose, stall up on the coping, and then drop back in backwards or switch. For me, that's definitely the scariest part of the trick, is having to drop back in backwards. There's no right or wrong way to learn how to nose stall. Some people just go for it, go in the stall and try and come back in. But I think this trick is a lot easier if you can already drop in switch. When you're learning to drop in switch, you want to start on a small transition. My ramp's 3 feet, so if you have a ramp that size, that's perfect. Even something 2 foot might be nice just to get comfortable with dropping in backwards. It's pretty scary the first time you put your board down and you have your front foot holding it up on the coping. But you want to think of it just like a regular drop-in. Remember all those same exact steps that you did when you first learned to drop in, stomping your foot down, leaning forward. If you focus on those things, the drop-in is going to be a lot easier. The one thing I would change a little bit about a switch drop-in is when I first learned them, I actually like to move my front foot, or technically your back foot, a little bit closer to the tail. By doing that, it makes it a lot easier for you to lean into the ramp. When I first learned them, I kept slipping out because I wasn't putting enough weight back into the ramp. So by sliding my foot even a little past the bolts into the pocket of the tail, my body was able to maintain that weight into the ramp. The other thing I would tell you is I had a bad habit, for whatever reason, when I was learning to drop in switch, of opening up my shoulders. What eventually helped me get it down was really focus on keeping my shoulders parallel with the board, bend my knees, and kind of just teeter-totter in. You want to make sure that you slam those wheels down just like you would for a normal drop-in, but lean your body into the ramp and you're going to find yourself rolling away. Once you get the drop-in down, it's time to learn the stall. It's funny because I got the drop-in relatively quickly. I had a couple of rough falls, but I had a lot of trouble getting into the stall, and I think it's because I was approaching it the wrong way. First of all, when I was trying to get into nose stall, I was trying to go as fast as possible. I thought to get all my weight on top of the ramp, I needed to go really, really fast. What I actually found was the opposite. Taking a little speed off, just like when learning tail stall, makes it a lot easier to get your nose up there on the coping. One thing that I started doing is doing a switch rock on the other side before I went into nose stall to give me some better speed control. The other thing you really need to focus on is your shoulders. Just like I mentioned with the switch drop-in, you want to keep your shoulders parallel to the board. When I was first learning nose stalls, I have a video of that if you want to check it out, I kept turning my shoulders to open up towards the coping. That made it nearly impossible for me to get into the stall. When I started focusing on just keeping my shoulders parallel, go into that teeter-totter motion, just shifting my weight, bending that back leg a little bit, I was finally able to get into those stalls. Since you've already learned how to switch drop-in, at that point, just drop back in. If you're struggling with this trick, you kind of want to think of it like a reverse tail stall. If you already know how to tail stall like I recommended at the beginning of this video, you kind of want to just do everything in reverse. Those same struggles you had when you learned how to drop in or get into the tail stall, you want to apply those same principles, you're just applying them to the other foot. Keep your shoulders straight, bend your back leg up, and shift your weight up to the top of the ramp. The first time you get into that stall, you're going to get a feeling for it, and then it won't be long before you're getting into it every time. Scare factor on this trick is pretty high, just like any other trick that you're coming in backwards, rock to fakie, feeble fakie. It's all about commitment. When you get into that stall, if you can already switch drop in, you just got to go for it, and before long, you're going to land it. Nose stall is a trick I hated for a long time, whether I didn't like how it looked, I was too scared of it, whatever the reason, I never learned it. But since I did, it's actually a pretty fun trick, and it sets you up for an even more fun trick in the nose stall revert, which we'll address in a later video. Until then, don't forget, leave a comment down below, let me know what trick you want to see next, or what trick you want to see me learn next, and if you learn a new trick, send a video my way, might find yourself at the end of the next video. Till then, see you guys next time.